Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pin Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman, owner of Creek Road Pottery in Laceyville, Pennsylvania, next to the cold Tuscarora Creek. Pull up a chair around the wheel as we discuss topics concerning the art and craft of pottery, good books, storytelling, marketing, and creating work that matters for folks who care. Greetings, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Pin Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman. This is Season 3, Episode 14. So, thanks for listening so far. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy having the podcast. So, the Strucka Creek is running pretty low and warm. It has been hot here, and the sun has been beating down, and it's just been 90 degrees almost every day in the beautiful Northeast Pennsylvania. And I haven't been getting a whole lot of pottery work done, not only because of the heat, and my wife and I just been hanging out near the air conditioner, trying to stay hydrated, and not feeling like doing a whole lot. Another part of that is there's been a lot of overtime work at the paper factory, and I do 12-hour rotating shifts, and due to vacations and some people being out sick, I've had to work overtime, and so that's eating up my time that I could spend in the pots. However, the money, the extra money that's made, can go into financing some of the bigger projects that I need to do in the pots, which means putting in the rebuild of the wood kiln that I took down last year. So I haven't done any shows because I've been working, and I usually do the Tunkhannock Founders Day, which was this weekend. I was not able to due to my job, but a huge thing that I was able to complete was finding someone to pour the concrete pad for my wood kiln. That was very challenging. A lot of the contractors were booked up at least a year out, and my team leader at work, his uncle does contracting work and was between jobs and was able to fit me in. So thanks to my team leader, they came out and poured the pad last week, Monday I think they came out, and we put the sprinkler on it to keep it from drying out fast, because that heat from the sun would have just cracked it all up. So they did a slow dry, and it is now complete. It still needs to cure probably for another month before I build something on it, but at least I got it in, and I'm really happy about that, because now I can start rebuilding the wood kiln. Got to get concrete blocks for the base and put those out there. Then I need to start resurfacing the bricks that I'm going to use. I think I'm going to start with the firebox, work my way back, and I'm going to have to map everything out. I have the blueprints, have the images, so hopefully that project, a few things at a time, will get done hopefully around the fall, because I don't want to have the bricks on pallets another winter. Another interesting thing that I've been trying is to build a rocket kiln, which fires using wood and wood heat. And I've seen these built where you make a J shape, and then the draft takes it up through the kiln. Have updrafts here, and I put in brick in the bottom, and I used a bowl from my cry pile where the bottom blew out, But that bowl was big enough to fit tightly up and under the intake hole of the bottom of the kiln, and I built up fire brick around that, and sealed it up with some kale wool, and I'm building that out into the shape of the firebox, into this J form, and that is going to heat the kiln. Hopefully I'm going to try to get it to, I'm going to go to 04 first, see if I can get it that temperature. It's been done before, there's videos on it, and I may post it in the show notes. But if you have an old kiln, building a rocket kiln is a lot of fun, and you cut the wood into very thin strips, and you put it down in there, and it burns very hot, very fast. And you can, they say, you can, in a small kiln, you can get to cone 05, 06 in a matter of at least 3 hours, which is far too fast. So I would slow that down, use my normal firing schedule as far as work heat is concerned, and feed wood into that and let it burn if I can get it going. So I'm in the process of building that, but I was out there the other day, and sweat was just pouring right off me, and so there was fear of dehydration and all that. It was just too hot to work outside. So I came inside and relaxed a bit, but I did get a good portion of that done. So I may need to buy some more brick for the firebox for the wood kiln. I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace and some other places to get the Super Duty fire brick. And these things got some weight to them, about 8.5 pounds a piece. And I'm not sure exactly how many I'm gonna need until I get building, and maybe I'm gonna count out all the bricks that I'm gonna need for the tatami brick firebox. I'm also gonna need to maybe make some more tatami bricks with tatami clay mix that I got. And if you're not sure what tatami bricks look like or are, just type it in my website, and I wrote about it a little bit as I was taking the kiln down. Basically, they're cone shapes that, when they're put all together, handmade cones, clay cones, fired to this temperature with fire clay, a high fire clay mixture, and then they're placed together. They're grooved, and they create a dome pattern. And then you place them in there using fire clay. And you fire it out, and then you have a dome top. It's really interesting. It's a work of art, the way they built this thing when I was taking it down. So that needs to go back in. I'm going to need to get some fire clay and use a mortar mixture to put it all back in. I got the recipes, and so I'm going to start that. It's just I need to get a count of the brick that I have from the build that I took down to see how much. And I may need to restack in a different way. They dry stacked it. The original owners dry stacked it, but it's only a single layer of brick. I need it more than that, I think, to create a better insulation, to hold heat better. Because in the end, we're going to be working harder. And it may take longer to get a temperature rise, simply because we're losing so much heat, because the walls aren't thick enough of the kiln, right? So, at least for the firebox, I'm going to look at the kiln book and use the building configuration there to do the kiln walls. And so that's the reason why I may need more Super Duty brick, but they cost a lot of money, probably about $6 to $8 a piece. If I need 100, that's an awful lot of money, but not much overtime, right? Because I get paid pretty well, and I could use some of that overtime pay to buy brick. So even though I'm burdened working my job, the extra that comes from that can still go into the kiln. So this week's episode, we were going to be talking about the business model canvas and cost structure, but I'm going to save that. This is the last section of the business model canvas. This is the last section of the business model canvas on cost structure. But today, instead, we're gonna talk about imposter syndrome, right? And I'm gonna give my AI virtual assistant Amelia the Sunday off. She's off doing her own thing, and we'll do cost structure another time to finish that up, because I really wanted to finish the business model canvas. It's a great technique to use if you're building your pottery business. But instead, we're gonna, with this kiln and my ideas about it, we'll talk about imposter syndrome. And last weekend, I was able to attend another Bill Moon Imagine Peace Pottery wood firing, and he allowed me to be part of the finishing team. We got done early in the morning and reached about 2,300 degrees and held it there for a while, and then we shut it down, and it was an amazing experience. I didn't have any work in, but I was there to learn how to fire wood kilns, learn some troubleshooting tips that Bill uses on temperature gains, what to do when things stall out, interaction with the teams, how the teams react, how you react with the teams, stoke times, all kinds of things, types of wood. So all of that I did last weekend once again. So this is the second time that I had the privilege of going out to Mills, PA, and helping Bill fire at Imagine Peace Pottery. So they're unloading, or they did unload the kiln yesterday, and they got some pretty nice pieces from what I seen. I was not able to make it because I had to work. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go down to the studio, and we're gonna sit around the wheel, right? And we're gonna talk about imposter syndrome and what that might be, because we all feel it, and definitely I felt it while I was helping Bill fire his kiln at 1 a.m. in the morning on the last night, on the night we finished. And it could have been that I was hungry, could have been that I was a little bit tired, but I could feel it. And it just seemed like a big task. And we'll talk about that. So go get a coffee and meet me down around the wheel, and maybe we'll throw a few bowls, right? We'll throw a few bowls, and we'll talk about imposter syndrome. So I'll see you there. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Gather around the wheel. There's plenty of room. Hopefully, you brought your coffee. I got one. I'm going to take a sip here before I start throwing. We're going to talk about imposter syndrome. So, a lot of times we might find ourselves in these strange situations, doing things that we may never have done before. And when we find ourselves and we come to, in the middle of it all, there may be that thing in our head that says, man, I cannot believe I'm doing this. And there's no way that a person like me would be able to do a thing like this. And friends, Stephen Pressfield, in his book, The War of Art, says that feeling is the concept of resistance. That thing that wants to hold you back, and that thing that wants to keep everything the same, that thing that does not want you to advance, that thing that tells you that you're not good enough. And that thing creates the imposter syndrome. And Steven Pressfield says that when you feel the imposter syndrome take hold, you should fake it until you make it. Be the best and biggest imposter that you can, and you will succeed. And I thought about that, and I was like, wow, if I feel like an imposter, but it's resistance keeping me, you did all the work to get to where you are. You did all the projects and the learning and the skills to do what you're doing. But there's still that thing in your head. He said at that point, fake it, because you're already doing it. And be the biggest imposter when resistance tells you that you are. Play the role of an imposter and do it the best you can. So a lot of times with these big projects, especially with the wood kiln, it's a little bit different than weighing the opportunity cost or all the cost that may go into a new project or something bigger than yourself. And this kiln that was given to me is like an amazing relic from the past. You know, it involves like tradition, and it's like you're trying to move the past forward. And if you don't carry this thing forward, you might disappoint some people, right? Like, I worry about disappointing the people who gave me the kiln, because they were my mentors. I might lose a tradition or be a part of, oh man, I had the opportunity to forward a wood firing kiln and wood firing tradition, and I messed it up. And you might even feel obligated at the time to not say no. You can say no, but maybe you were convinced by somebody else that it was a great opportunity and that you should take it on. So, strap it on your back like a big old backpack, and you try to carry it. And it gets harder, and there's some suffering to it as you go up the hills or through the dips. And then you start second guessing your decision once the suffering and the hard work gets into it. And that's when imposter syndrome comes and talks to you, right? Tells you can't do it, and that you're not going to make it through the dip. It's not a dip that says, it might be a cliff. How long do you keep going? And that's what I kind of felt in hour 52 of Bill's wood firing last weekend. And those people that were on the stove team with us as we rotated out the 6-hour shifts. So it wasn't the rotations that were hard. The hard part was getting the small temperature gains. Around 1 a.m., then Bill made some decisions, and we got the thing to move a little bit. But I came to the realization that the weight of my own wood kiln back home on pallets in the yard was just weighing me down, right? And I knew they were coming to put in the pad, so that was a little step forward. But at that point, I was just like feeling it really bad, like, I don't think I can do this. But then, things I did in the past encouraged me. Mainly, I talked myself down because I was like, look, when I went out there, I spent all summer taking the thing down, over 3,000 bricks, putting it on pallets, and getting it shipped to my house. right? So that was a huge accomplishment, all the while working as much as I am right now, because every summer, the paper factory, there's tons of work because of vacations and everything. So, and it was hot out there. And when I first went out, I had no idea how to take apart a kiln. And basically, Nan, the lady who gave it to me, was like, well, it's pretty easy. You just take one brick from the kiln carefully and you put it on a pallet, and you do that 6,000 times, and eventually you'll have all the bricks on all the pallets. Then you get it shipped to your house. There's a 20-foot stack of that thing, and we worked on it, and I stacked the pallets. Then I had my uncle come, and we got it here. But the whole time, there was still that self-doubt, you know. And a lot of times, the things that we are given for free and that you're now committed to moving forward in through tradition. It's like carrying a heavy pack, and you just need to do it and keep moving, but you may feel the weight of it. So it comes at a high cost. You know, while this thing was free and given to me, I did spend the whole summer taking it down brick by brick on my days off, so I put time into it. You know, I went up and down the ladder to get the chimney underneath the shed roof line, and I couldn't toss them down because they would break because the ground was too hard, so I had to lower them down in pails, and safely, so I wouldn't get hurt. And then I just had to spend like almost over $3,000 putting in the concrete pad. Friends and family were very helpful, but all the time I was having this imposter syndrome in the back of my head, like, I'm not going to be able to do this, as I was doing it, right? So that's what the resistance does. You'll be doing something, and right in the middle of doing it, you'll say to yourself, self, I can't believe I'm doing this, and there is no way that a person like me is able to do this. And but there I was doing it. Got the pad in, and this kiln isn't going to go away. It's not going to grow legs and walk away. The kiln will still need to be maintained. A community of people will need to be built around it in order to help me fire it and support it. And it's just like an ongoing project here, and it's going to take more than one person to run it and to support it. So by having the kiln, I'm giving up control of the process in other ways. So that's kind of scary, because other people are going to be having a part in that. So I need to trust other people, find the right people to help me fire, and it's going to need to be, not only reconstructed but maintained. So there needs to be some kind of strategy going forward on the wood kiln. I have a decent strategy that I believe, and a good roadmap as a project management strategy to start. So that's a good thing. So maybe I am faking being the best imposter that I can, and I just need to see this kiln and the imposter syndrome as like a wood firing itself. Slow increments, slow build up to temperature, and then realize there will be a stall after 2100. And there will be a stall with this kiln for sure building it. There already was. It's been sitting on pallets for about a year now, even before I could get the pad in. So that was a stall. It was a dip. I knew that dip was going to happen, so I'm kind of driving out of the first dip, second guessing myself again. And so I'm hopefully going to be able to start putting down the cinder blocks, concrete blocks, and then on top of that, start building the kiln back again. So I guess like thinking about it, my past mentors did run it like a kiln firing, lacking time, lacking resources and energy, and being older, and they just shut the firing down. They saw the sunk cost as a gift to their current selves that they made, and they created change in their community by firing work and creating work that mattered for people who care. And they still have a team out there, and I'm going to go meet that team. And I don't feel like a leader of a wood firing kiln, and I'm going to have to fake it the best I can. I have to show up with a smile. I have to inspire them to help me, and I'm going to have to inspire them to work hard for me. If they put work in and choose to come. So I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to upset some people. And being that the kiln's here, I'm going to change some traditions. I'm going to set new direction for people like us, do things like this. The mentality of where the old kiln was, I'm sure that's still entrenched in some ways. I'm going to keep the old name of the kiln, even though it's here. It's going to be called Anna. And some will not follow, and that's fine. It's not for them. And others, they may just tag along for a little while and then leave. However, I feel I'm up for the task, maybe, and we'll see how it goes step by step. And there will be a beginning, a middle, and the end. I can see the kiln built. I can see it standing in my backyard. And I'm really hoping that things go as smooth as possible. So along the way, there's been some great guides. Bill Moon has given his support and said if I had any questions in building my kiln, he would come out and help me, since we've been talking and I've been helping him fire his kilns. I had some people in the community volunteer to help me put this thing back up. Still, it's an amazing process for me, and it feels very overwhelming, and I just want the project to go well, and I hope I'm able to pull it off and not disappoint my mentors. Nan says none of that should matter. I should just go forward. She's not going to let me fail. This kiln's going to get up there no matter what happens, because she said I don't have a choice. So I'm going to believe Nan. Nan will get me through the imposter syndrome part of it. She is a workhorse, and yeah, she is very feisty. So straightforward. So she don't mess around. So I'm hoping to go out to Nan's studio, doing the meet and greet, meet the people from her studio where the kiln came from, and then invite them down to see the pad maybe, and to have potluck or tea party, and to get to know them a little better before we have to work together, right? So that's going to be important. Community building, a whole bunch of things. And I'm still unsure of what kind of a leader I'm going to be, and I'm still pinching myself that I was given this kiln, and it's a new type of firing that I've never done before, other than under the direction of other people. But I've learned so much already, and there's no way I'm going to be able to learn everything there is to know about it. But I just need to know enough to limp it along and to get some halfway decent pots out, no matter what happens. So I need to fake it, and I need to beat resistance and be the best imposter that I can. All right, friends, hopefully you enjoyed that little chat around the wheel, and check out the Pottery Dailies on my website. Right, every day. Most of them are bad, right? Because I'm a better potter than I am a writer. But I'm writing every day. If you enjoy this podcast, feel free to leave a little review or click a like or something. So that way it helps me to know that things are going well and that I'm going in the right direction. I really don't depend on reviews. I kind of take the podcast in the direction that I feel it needs to go. But I do consider a little bit. I do take a peek at reviews. I don't depend on them. But I do take a little sneak peek, right? Just to see what people are saying. All right, friends, so be well and take care. And always ask, who is it for? What's it for? And what change are we trying to make? So until next time, make work that matters for people who care, and happy potting.